Okay, hello. Here to talk about a few things that I received as a direct instructional message. So we get reminded a lot, and these are times where guidance is appreciated. Certainly, it's not telling anybody what to do, but people who have actually done the work and been conduits to something a little bit bigger than what we are normalized here to believe and paradigms and programmed to believe is on a macro level that we actually do communicate with interstellar and interdimensional beings. For most of our life, we just don't know it. So, I'm Diana, Spirit Love Star, and I have a quick minute to jump on here and relay the messages that I've been getting. So, just a little bit of a background. I think it's good to preface this with where I stand and how I view certain things because I have always had guidance my entire life, and it's not guidance from an adult, it's not guidance from another person, but it was guidance from my star family. Okay. The earliest memory I have is maybe 4 or 5 years old, and I would sneak out of my crib and go outside at nighttime just to talk to the moon and the stars because I had a very, very strong knowing at that age as they were calling me to speak to them to answer and to respond to that call. Now, growing up throughout my life, I have another video kind of explaining this. I have ignored it because you try to acclimatize here to the socialization of how to be a human, and you go through high school, you just want to be accepted by your family. So you kind of drop all those stories so that people don't think you're crazy. And you don't really embrace the crazy, even though I was still in constant communication with them. And I'm not the only one. We all have this guidance. Some of us just paid attention to it more than others. And now in these times, sorry, I was just listening out if my baby was crying. In these times, it's become so prevalent, so much louder, and initiation has begun. So we are expanding as a consciousness, as a society, as a civilization, and life will never be the same. I came down here on this planet knowing my star galactic connection, forgetting it a few times because of this thing called hi, I have to be a human and I have to be accepted, but never really letting go of it. And because of that not letting go of because of being hypersensitive and being able to still keep that antenna, that satellite, with them, that those open channels, I have been able to be a little bit more tapped into. I don't like using the word psychic. Just the clairvoyance, the clairaudience, the clairsentience, which we all have. Okay, it is our third eye, and a lot of people have it and just don't know it. So sometimes you have an intuition about something, that gut feeling. You can start there, and then it gets bigger and bigger as if you were to work with that tool and delayer all the programming that you have received throughout your life, you even get even more sensitive and more sensitive. Then you can really pick up on things on a telepathic level to a point where you can hear the sound before it even comes. You can feel the waves and the vibrations before certain things appear. And we all are given this in our bodies, in our mechanism, in our design. It is in our design, okay? But when we come down here, we go through a veil of forgetfulness, okay? So we're not meant to remember. We're not meant to. Many of us do, some of us do, but for the most part, we kind of just go, okay, let me just do what everybody else is doing here, right? So, okay. A lot of messages have come in, and my time is limited because I have a baby, so I can't really jump on here all the time, but he's sleeping right now. And it's important for me to get on here because there have been very, very just direct instructions. I I know I'm a Pleiadian, and I've had this memory my entire life, and it's gotten stronger and stronger and stronger. Anytime I veered off course, they realigned me. And the way the universe works is that it likes to realign you via the contrast. So it nudges you a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, with occurrences and instances and situations that are usually rooted in like heartbreak or disappointment, and when things go belly up, pretty much. And that's just how we know which direction we want, by knowing what we don't want. So your spirit is always in connection and always giving you messages via your feelings, so that you know, oh, I'm not supposed to be feeling this way. I'm supposed to be feeling joy. I'm supposed to be following happiness, and I'm supposed to be feeling good. Anything that veers outside of that is not the direction that you need to be going. So it tells you about what situation you're in via your feelings. Okay. Okay. So those are just some basics. Now, for me personally, as my story, so that makes more sense, I've had these messages come in, and it's been my guidance system my entire life. Okay, I've always was kind of the person giving advice to friends, and in relationships, like I was like the fixer, thinking that that was what I needed to be doing, because I had such a direct telling that I was here for something, like this great big shift, like this shift in consciousness. The way things were running were not conducive to all the life that is part of the one. Okay, we are all part of one big spirit, and the way things were running here, with the 1% controlling the wealth, and the sex trafficking, and the cruelty to children, and the cruelty to animals, and the cruelty to our planet, really, I mean, with plastics and everything, if you want to get environmental, really was going down a path where we were taking advantage of our planet, and the energy really emanates out into astrology. So I was always into horoscopes and astrology, and that's one of the things that has geared me as well, like helped gear me. And people who like that sort of thing, that's another telltale sign that you are meant to sharpen your psychic ability, because we are connected to the stars. We're literally made of them. We literally have had past lives. We're made from the exact material genetically from the cosmos. Okay, they just don't teach us this in schools, and I say that repeatedly because our frame of thinking is outside of this. We think it's something that's like outside of us, and we created, I'm going to say wait, because we subconsciously buy into the creation of what is quote unquote reality, right? We don't question things when we're in kindergarten or first grade, or maybe we do, but we kind of just go, okay, I have to go through this because my mommy and my daddy are telling me that I have to, and my teacher says that I'm going to get in trouble if I don't listen. So pay attention to the way you felt in those early years. I know I felt like, what are these people talking about? Like, a lot of times I was kind of on the side of like opposition with the educational system, because I knew that I knew better. Like, I was just like, what do you like? Some of the things were great, like, art and grammar, and like that's cool. But like other things that would come up in subjects, you would just be like, and I know I'm not the only one. As you get older in high school, you're like, really, when am I going to use this? And why are you guys feeding me this BS history that a lot of it was, altered, and if not flat out fabricated. Okay. So that inner knowingness, never lose sight of that, because that is your guidance telling you, your emotional guidance system always tells you which way to go. Depending on our upbringing, sometimes we get turned in against ourselves because we cry about something and then we're told not to cry about it. And so it makes us not trust our own internal guidance system. But as you build trust within yourself, you get older, you realize, wait a minute, now let me go internal and let me look at this, because the same lessons keep coming up in my life, the same situation, say with a boyfriend or with a girlfriend relationship. And it's a lot of unsolved, trauma, and healing needs to take place. So once you do that healing, you start to prioritize your consciousness. And once you really start to integrate those fragmented emotional aspects that were broken via a trauma, emotional pain, once you resolve it and you realize, oh my God, I was running this pattern and I didn't even know it was so buried in my subconscious and in my unconscious behavior. And I learned it from XYZ, but it doesn't matter because they learned it from their parents. Your parents, their grandparents, and different paradigms get molded throughout history, depending on the generation, and really starts to influence the way your first 7 years, you really are like, you're a child. You don't have judgment. You just agree with what you're given. And as long as that gives you love, you're like, okay, this is the way things are. But there's a stillness, there's a quietness there right? Intuition, always talking to you, right? Always whispering. Mine was very strong, extremely strong. I mean, why would I always get these messages that were like so strong as if a person was telling it in my ear? That's how strong it was. And it would be in direct contrast by the elders, the adult figures in my life. It'd be like, no. And it was not like I mean, the years that I tried to quiet it, I paid for that. I was realigned. I was like, I got into a car accident. That's how much I was getting into a car accident with myself. It manifested it in the physical. I was turning against myself. So then it was like, okay, we'll turn the car against you too, and we're not going to take your life. Although I really did almost thankfully, it wasn't my time to leave because I'm here for a stronger purpose and I'm here for this great awakening, which I always knew. And I was always asking, like, when is it going to happen? You guys keep telling me that there's this great shift. And is it just in my imagination? A lot of times I really just thought it was in my imagination, that maybe I wouldn't be here for the upcoming events that we are visiting present day. We are literally amidst and sitting in the biggest event of our lives, the biggest turning point. Okay. And if you want to ease your way into the ascension process, that is something. Okay. Hopefully I can edit that in because I'm not savvy with the technology. Um, okay. So I don't even know where I left off. Okay. So going to the messages that I received directly from my galactic family of light. And I know that I mentioned that even though that you are from a certain star family and maybe you have connection, oh, okay, I'm a Sirian or I'm a Nectarian. It doesn't matter the labels, okay? I, in my heart, always knew that I was like the characteristics that match the Pleiades. So, and that actually showed up in my life several times with like blue and like purple and those colors. And like the first time I heard the word Pleiadian, I was like, I'm that. I don't know what it is, but I know I'm that. Okay, so that's how you kind of know that. That's just my anecdotal story of how I knew. So, um, in these times, we have to start to choose to prioritize our consciousness and start as a civilization, as a society, to say, we know what's going on because we can think for ourselves, okay? And a lot of times, if you just buy into the narratives and the perspectives of the news, the media, you're literally taking in their interpretation of it, okay? Their interpretation of this COVID-19 right now. And that may not even have been filtered through your lens, but because they presented it with fear, okay? Say they talk about UFO was sighted and we think that, as long as they don't harm us, or we think that if they're trying to infiltrate our system, boom, all of a sudden you're like, they're dangerous. Like just because the newscaster anchorman said that, okay? So that is their interpretation of this intelligence that you come from, actually. So who said that anything was a threat ever? But because they're presenting it to you in that narrative, all of a sudden you take on that perspective because of the way it was said. Okay, and because it's the unknown and we like our certainty, we like our know, we like to know. The ego, really, it really is your ego, loves to identify and figure things out and not have things be uncertain. The ego loves certainty. All of a sudden you develop this vibration called fear, which is a very strong vibration. It can debilitate you, and it literally, like, scared to death, it could kill you. It really literally can. In these times, because I am a direct conduit to the stars, I've already been contacted several times. So the contact is not always like, okay, it takes you into a ship, your body gets, no, it's not like that, okay? It is more interdimensional. It is via your consciousness, and you literally do get activated. Okay, so you do feel it in your body. It's not to say that you don't. My personal story is I've been able to astral travel to this galactic family that I have several times throughout my life, but more so now in these potent times of ascension, where our grid, which is a geometrical, kind of like that sacred geometry, energetic electromagnetic field. This is like the clairvoyant in me coming out, kind of, because everything is vibration, brain waves, gamma, beta. So all these are real biosphere, real, even though it's not tangible, like you can't touch it, you can feel it, you can see it, you can even hear it. Okay, and some people would actually disagree and say that yeah, you actually can touch it. Okay. So that's affected, and that's the song that all the animals and the ecosystem and the birds and the trees and the wolves and all the animals, like that's the rhythm that they are connected to, the whales, the sonar. Okay, so now you understand it's frequency. So these frequencies actually start to, after hundreds and hundreds of years, starts to shift. So we are going into the fifth dimension. Earth already made her transition into 5D. Okay, now it's just up to the humans to catch up. We really have to prioritize how easily we want to either be on the side of fear or the side of love. Okay, fear is that vibration of uncertainty. I need to know. And sometimes if you have unresolved trauma within your body, you're going to latch onto that news because it's giving you certainty. And it's somehow making you feel better because that's where the fear needs to go in your body. So all of a sudden you go, see, I told you. Look at all the death toll. They know exactly what they're talking about. You don't even know what each individual patient went into the hospital for. And there's a lot of fake news out there where they're telling you that you have COVID-19 and you're not even like have all the symptoms. They just assume because the fear. Why fear? Because we've been controlled by 1%. You have to zoom out in order to understand all of this. We've been controlled by 1% of the powers that be. And we're just like the little people. We have our jobs as long as, they paint, and it's not that you don't have a good life. It's not that you haven't, enjoy Easter, enjoy the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, enjoy all those beautiful, cute little things, Hollywood movies, but it's all programming so that you can stay in the unknown of what's really going on, of the power that you actually have, the power that we were put, it's in our DNA. There's some, if you guys have heard junk DNA, is because there's so many angles that we can actually talk about this, but like the Anunnaki story, I'm not even going to get too much into that, but we are galactic beings. Okay, if you ever done that that ancestry.com, and you want to know what you are, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like 28% Turkish, and I didn't know that I was like Hungarian, blah blah blah. And then there's that little like outlier, 7% unknown, 4% unknown. What do you guys think that is? Okay, we're not made, from apes. I'm sorry. It's a lie they told us. It's not, we weren't all of a sudden, just, we're not AIs, not yet, not yet, but we're not made in a machine. We were made with the DNA of extraterrestrials. Okay, we are extraterrestrials. So we can't fear them because they are us. And we can't go via a news source that we've been programmed all our life to listen to because we like to tune into. We like to know what's going on. It's normal to be like, okay, I want to know what's going on. But you have to choose wisely, and you have to use discernment. You have to use discernment. Okay, I was just checking if this was recording. And this is a beautiful space that we're in because this was always going to happen. And I've been waiting for this my entire life, along with many other light workers. I consider myself a light worker because I am so anchored in the love vibration. I have built a huge resume, I guess, can say, as a metaphor, the word resume, because I have so much experience with dark entities in my life, and whether they were mine, my parents, my family members, my boyfriends, I'm familiar with the highs and the lows of spirit, of how desperation can turn and coil and go in on itself. And light always combats that. Love always combats that. So any fear you're feeling, and if you really think about it, is it fear that I gave myself? Ask yourself that. Is this fear that I gave myself, did this come from a reliable source? My source has always been my galactic family of light, right? But what is your source has always been? Just what other people tell you? And that's the pivotal decision that we are in right now. You have to start to decide, do I want to tap in, or do I just want to keep believing the programming and everything that I was, I'm not going to question anything. I'm a person that questions things. Okay? I'm a bit of an activist. When I know something is not right, I speak up. And I've never spoken up more because I got my DNA activation. Okay, so our DNA is actually crystalline, and it's actually 12 strands and not double helix. And the more light gets incorporated, the more ready we have to be. That's why a lot of us have like these tired spells. We get our bodies tired because we're literally like reprogramming our entire body. We're reassembling on a DNA like genetic structure, cellular level. We're literally reassembling things. Neurotransmitters are starting to get neural pathways or thought streams are they're rewiring, right? 20, like, what's that? 28 days to break a habit. It's literally neuroplasticity. That's literally what it does. It starts to rewire via new thought patterns. So what do you think happens if you just keep thinking and keep opening your consciousness? The grid of your entire body replenishes, resets, and incorporates the light codes from our galactic family. And all of us are galactic beings. We were put here on Earth as human experience to serve as a community of the one, of God's source. And we're all God. The good, the bad, the evil, the light, it's all God. And everything, see the God in it because it's all God. Okay? So you have to decide what side you want to be on. Side of fear. If this, just think to yourself, the decision that I'm making, is it alignment with fear-based vibration, or is it an alignment more with love-based vibration? Right? So you get to choose your reality. Is watching this news making me feel more anxiety? That's you making a decision more based on the fear-based vibration. When you can just choose your reality, turn it off, say, no, I'm not going to play into that reality anymore, and I'm going to choose my good vibration, because high vibes is what's of the essence right now, because love always wins. Light beats out the dark. Okay? And once you do that, you choose your reality, and you're not in fear. I live every day not in fear. I've never been so happy because the planet is resetting itself. We're getting back to oneness. We're realizing what's important, what's precious in our life. And that's love, that's family, that's connection, that's intimacy, that's respect for our planet, respect for ourselves. That's looking at the shadow that we always just like said, I'm just going to distract myself and be this and be that. No, we're starting to become more real. Real with ourselves, real with our partners, real with each other, real with how we're treating anything that's living, really. Real with what we're putting in our body. Real with the powers that be that have been playing us this entire time with the GMOs and the crazy ass like commercials. Here, take this other pill. Oh, you have anxiety, take this pill. God knows what's in those pills, right? So we are powerful beings. We just have to expand and believe, and the light codes in you activate. My light codes, I'll make another video on it, but my light codes, it was an amazing experience. It happened over the span of 5 days. I got a direct telling that something was going to happen. I knew in 48 hours that I had to prepare myself, and it happened on night 1, night 2, and night 3, fully activated. You cannot move when they're doing it. You cannot move. You're like, and your immunity is boosted. I'm not scared of this virus at all because it cannot penetrate my light body. And takes time, it takes work. I'm not bragging or anything. I am here to inspire you to tap into your light body so that you can activate, but via your shadow work first. You have to get rid of those traumas by just seeing it, shedding a light on it like a flashlight. Be like, oh, okay, trauma, I see you. That happened when I was 3, when I was 6. I see you. What do you want to tell me? That I'm okay? That I came down for this experience? It was always going to happen. This experience when I was 9 was always going to happen. What can I learn from it? What can I extract from it? How can I spin this into another tale? How can I have compassion for myself and love myself while I do it? How can I speak to that part that self-judges? How can I speak to that part of myself that thinks is not worthy? right? Then your identity, your true life force starts to connect all your chakras because it was stagnant from these traumas. Then it starts to open up like a lotus, right? And your consciousness starts to really emanate that light out into the cosmos. And then you call your galactic family of light, and they have had your back the entire time, along with your spirit guides, along with angels, along with any interdimensional being that has always been giving you those little whispers. You know, people who are seeing numbers 1111, 222, 333, those are starting to get synchronous. Those synchronicities are starting to happen because they're trying to get your attention, and that's how they can manipulate something that is not in the physical. Like, you know, they can't really like use anything else. They can use frequency, so that's why they whisper, like, look at the clock now, or look at this house now that says 222, or, you know, it starts to happen in these ways. That's because you're starting to walk through that galactic breadcrumb trail of following, you know, walk by faith, not by sight. You're following the flow method. You're flowing like water, taking every state and every change in every form. And you're just adaptable. You have to be like a chameleon in these times and decide, am I going to choose fear? Am I going to choose love? Am I going to make this decision based off of uncertainty? Am I going to project my fears onto someone else just because I don't know what to believe? The powers, the evil dark forces that were ruling this planet since forever are breaking down right now, and love is winning, and that's what's happening. Because from a galactic level, and you astral travel enough, you see it, you feel it, you know where the pockets on Earth that need to, you know, and you see it, you do see it on the news, all the traffic, the sex trafficking that got raided. You see all these uncoverings, you know, the Weinstein guy, and all these evil practices that just been going on for way too long are starting to get shut down. So, not to get all conspiracy on you guys, but you know, you needed to be distracted with a nice little virus. Yeah, people are dying, yes, and I send prayers for family members that are grieving right now, but the thing is that we are in an ascension process. We are an up-leveling, upgrading. The way you can, with your vehicle, with your body, upgrade and survive these times is by taking care of your body, but more so with your thoughts. What you think about, you become. You have depression, get the depression out by looking at your stuff, and be gentle with yourself during this time. It's going to take a little bit of time, but you are supported. You're fully supported. I'm giving you energetic space, holding space for people. Because I've done the work, I know exactly what it feels like. Dark night of the soul, cry it out, purge it out, but then you come out the other side lighter. And you see that what you thought was reality wasn't, and you're okay with it. It's about getting back up again. It's a test. Now, if buying into your reality means, I don't know, just watching Netflix all day, then fine, but just choose wisely what you watch, because the upholding of a raising of vibration is what's going to keep you afloat. And not just afloat, but not just afloat, because afloat seems like a not so hot, like you're just like dealing with it or something like that. No, it's like you can fly with this, you know, because this is for the collective, and it's a good thing that this whole thing is happening. A system reset. Okay? I have done this video because I know I heard my baby already like moving around. He's gonna cry soon. So I send everybody my love, and remember, choose love over fear. Choose the reality that you'd like to participate in during these times, and then you'll start to see and become grateful of why this is even happening. And then us light workers and us shadow workers are here with our assistance, and we've never held hands on an energetic level, even on social media, more than now, okay? Because your galactic family, your Cosmo family is with you at all times. They're with me right now as I make this video. Okay, and they're supporting you in your decision. Just make sure that you can be influenced, at least inspired, to make the decision of living a reality of love-based vibration. And whatever that looks like for you, do it. Okay, but now is the time to really cough up those shadows and get them out of our system. This way, our grid and the crystalline structure that is trying to incorporate in our body in this ascension process incorporates and you can fly during these times. I mean, I'm flying during these times because I'm just like, you know, and I'm not going to apologize for being happy either. I felt a little guilty at first, but I'm not the only one who feels so high during these times because we are cleaning out the garbage. And the 1%, who knows what's going to happen, but it's already done. It's already done. Let the evil forces that be get dismantled, and let us keep charging forward with this love, light vibration that we all own our power, okay? Our sovereign power to go outside, to be in nature. If you're a healthy person, I'm very sorry, but in my opinion, I go outside every single day. Nobody telling me to stay home. I'm sorry. I'm not sick. I'm good. And I practice safe measures, but I'm good. My light body's already activated. A virus cannot live when in something that's so alive. A virus is dead. It's not a living thing. It's dead. So everything is law of attraction. You just have to, you know, do your work, do your part, tap into your power. We're powerful and we're ascending. And this ascension is going to show us how telepathic we are, how the supernatural powers are not supernatural at all. They're actually innate in us. We just have to tap in. That was nice. I got a little, even ringing in the ears is a sign that you should pay attention to. The thoughts that you're thinking when you have ringing in the ears. But I have to end this video, so I thank you for listening. I thank you for joining, and I send everybody love and an energetic hug. See you soon.